Hi everyone, how are you doing today? I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm having a great day because we're going to be talking about blush, shall we? I wanted to get right into this video. I can't believe the light today is so terrible, and I don't want to be one of those YouTubers that's always apologizing about the light, but I do just use natural light for my videos, and it's so incredibly dark outside. In fact, I'm going to quick put in a picture of the beauty of all the frosty trees, all the beautiful little grasses and everything that's so beautiful outside right now. So like, I can appreciate the beauty. I'm also just not thrilled with the lighting. Let's get right into this before it gets any darker. It's not even 3 o'clock and it's getting dark. So today I'm going to be swatching all my blushes and probably decluttering some. This isn't something that I thought I would even do this year. I enjoy blush so much that it's not like I feel like I need to have a super small collection. Plus, generally, if I don't like something, I pass along right away and I don't keep it. But I've gotten to the point where I feel like I have some blushes that I just don't reach for, and the only time I do is when it's in my stash, and then I do enjoy them, but then I put them right back and I don't necessarily want to pull them out again versus others. So we'll talk about those, but first I'm thinking maybe I will start with like maybe my lightest blushes and maybe work my way up to the neutral and the deeper blushes. You know, some might get mixed up. I might have put them in the wrong category, but we will see as I swatch. Okay, let's get started. This is definitely my lightest blush. This is from Essence. This is their blush in the shade Blooming. And I have all my blushes separated according to peaches and pinks and things. I couldn't decide if this was supposed to be a very light peach or a very light pink. And of course I didn't do my nails before this video. I mean, why would I do that? Get that on the palest part of my arm. I don't even know if you can see it here. There you can, the tiniest bit. Yeah, you can. So that one I find very useful for very light makeup looks, and maybe you can even use it as a blush if you find another blush that's too maybe deep for you, or just a shade that you just want to change just a little bit. This is a really good one to pair with other blushes as well. Next up, my Hourglass blush in the shade Diffused Heat. This is another one that you can't really see very well in the swatch. You have to build it up more. But in my mind, that just means that it's not too pigmented. So that one, it's definitely a light pink. Next, my Neutrogena Healthy Skin Blush in the shade 10 Rosy. This one has a pretty sheen on it as well. A bit more pigmented than the Hourglass one, but also a bit more peachy. Next up, a cream blush. This one from Basic Beauty. I just mentioned this in my favorites. I love, love, love this because it blends out so easily. That one has perhaps a bit more mauve in it. You guys, I spent way too long trying to set up an overhead filming thing today. I wasted my good light trying to do that. Okay, so this is English Rose. I really, really enjoy this blush. As you can see, it is more pigmented than these other ones, but it doesn't act too pigmented when you put it on your cheeks. This is one that's really, really smooth, surprisingly so for a brand that I had never heard of before, and I'm definitely keeping this one. Okay, here's one that's on the chopping block. This is from Causemetics, which is not the same brand as Kaleidos Makeup, by the way. And as I said in my little intro, I like all the blushes that I have. This one is more of a pink with a definite bit of glowiness to it, but this one, for some reason, I just never reach for. Okay, so that's that one. Kind of a similar shade to that one is this one from Manna Kadar. I'm not normally a big Manna Kadar fan, but for some reason, this blush, I really like it. Let's get a nice swatch. Plus, I like the fact that it's a mini blush. If I can keep all mini blushes, I would. So these two are slightly different in their tone, but they're the same type of blush where they have a lot of glowiness to them. And honestly, on the cheeks, I have a hard time telling the difference between them. This is another one that I just don't think to use. I always want to use something else. This one's definitely more cool toned and more purple. This is from Sydney Grace. This is the shade Stiletto. This one I'm definitely not getting rid of. This one is a glowy blush, just like those. I mean, on my finger there, it looks really glowy. On the cheeks, thankfully, it doesn't look so glowy. But ooh, I just love that it's like a super smooth, really nice creamy formula. Here's another Essence blush. We're leaning more into the berry or mauve tones now. This is the shade Befitting. This one does have a little bit of a sheen to it, but it's not a glowy blush. Ooh. that was a nice swatch. It was so nice and smooth. I loved it. Let's do another Essence blush. This is from the matte line, which I don't know if this is even available anymore, maybe on their website, but this is the shade Bury Me Up. This is one of the most deep shades that I have. I wouldn't say quite fair skin, leaning fair in the light range, I would say. It's not too dark on me. Yeah, definitely leaning more berry, I feel like. Let's swatch a few cream blushes. This is one from Shiseido. This is newer in my collection. This is the shade Sonoya. I'm gonna try and get a good swatch for you because this, oh, it's so pretty. There, I would not, you know, wear it quite that built up on my cheek. Oh, this, I accidentally smeared a little bit there, but you can see what like the shade is. Now, this one from Milk Makeup. This is in the shade Work. Also, spoiler alert, I'm not getting rid of any of my creams. I really love creams. That one is definitely not as pink as the one from Shiseido. In fact, next to each other, this one looks almost leaning neutral, which it's definitely not. It just looks that way next to this very pink blush. It's interesting looking up here at like my super pale pink shades as we get deeper. I don't know, for some reason I find that very satisfying. Let's do one more pink blush. This is from Honest Beauty. This is the Cream Cheek Blush in the shade Rose Pink. This blush is like a little more like tacky when you put your finger into the pan. It's more like a balmy type texture. But it's another one that I really enjoy. And right there, you know, it looks a little bit crazy on my skin tone. Definitely leaning more berry, but when I wear it, I definitely sheer it out quite a bit. I don't wear it that pigmented, but if you want to, you can build it up to have a lot of color. Okay, so that's all of my light pinks, mauves, and berries. Now let's swatch my peachy blushes and my nude blushes. I'm gonna switch to this arm for that. Let's start with my lightest peach blush. This is from Sydney Grace. This is the shade Belle of Georgia. And in comparison to her other shade that I have, this is a full-on matte blush, but ooh, it's so pretty. So blendy, and look at like the amount of pigment in it. Really, really nice blush. Great for someone with really fair to light skin. Next, I have my Sugar Cosmetics Contour de Force Mini Blush in the shade Peach Pink. It doesn't look that light in the pan, but it blends out so pretty on the cheeks. I'm gonna try and give you a heavy swatch so you can see, you know, the true shade. Yeah, it's definitely leaning more neutral, maybe even a little more pink. Well, maybe not pink. This one maybe has more pink in it, but this one's leaning a bit more neutral than this one from Sydney Grace. Okay, here's a little sample from Douce. This is the Freematic blush in the shade Zen Orange. This one is another one on the chopping block. I just don't know if I want to keep around such a tiny little blush sample like this. It's a nice formula. It's nice and smooth. It has kind of a nice sheen to it. But before I decide to get rid of this one, I might try and swatch it out versus my singles to see if I might want to use this as a single shade, because it actually blends out really nice and it is a nice peachy shade. I like peachy blush, so it's beautiful. Okay, this is another one that's on the chopping block and it surprises me. Did I say before I wouldn't be getting rid of any of my cream blushes? Well, when I said that, I totally forgot about this one. So this is from Butanique Beauty, and it's one that comes in a little pot like this. This is the shade Peach Blush. And I find that I'm just not a fan of trying to blend this one out. It's much more of a stiff formula. And I feel like it needs to be like almost warmed up in the pot before you can even get a nice swatch out of it. And it just feels a little bit more thick. It's like closer to the Honest Beauty one than any of my other ones, but the Honest Beauty one blends out really nice. And I feel like this one requires more work and I just don't reach for it. There, that is a nice pigmented swatch. There, that looks really beautiful, but yeah, I just don't know. Next up, here's a mini from Tarte. This is the shade Party Dress. This one's definitely, I don't know, somewhere between in the pinky peach corally type range. I don't know. We'll see it swatched up next to the other ones here. Ooh, see, next to this really bright one from Butanique Beauty, it doesn't look as bright as it usually does. Usually when I swatch this one out, I'm like, whew, it's a bright shade, but not really compared to this one. But that one, nice and pigmented, good and smooth. Tarte has nice blushes. Okay, let's go into some that are more, probably still in the peachy category, but leaning more neutral. This is one from Pixi. This is the shade Beach Rose. I really like this blush. It's really, really smooth, pigmented, but you know, not too much. In fact, if anything is too pigmented, I get rid of it. I don't enjoy blushes that are really, really pigmented. So you can see definitely leaning in the peach range, but I would call it more neutral as well. Let's swatch this one from NYX. This is the Sweet Cheeks Soft Cheek Tint Blush Mousse in the shade Nude Tude. And I'm just gonna use the applicator to swatch it on my arm. Yeah, so that's a nice heavy swatch. You get a good true indication of its color. Blended out, you know, obviously I don't wear it that dark. I just ended up smearing it. Whoops. Sorry. But oh, this is gorgeous. I love this shade so much and the formula. Let's do another liquid one. This one from Flower Beauty. This is the shade Pinched. I'm just going to put a dot here on my arm. This is definitely a serum type blush. That, same thing, leans kind of peachy, but I would call that definitely a neutral shade. Next up, another Essence blush. This is the blush in the shade Bespoke. Out of all of the Essence blushes I have, I feel like this one has the most glow in it. No glitter or anything, just lots of glow. You can see on my finger there. The Essence blushes all swatch so nice. Definitely keeping. Okay. Only two left. So this is from Seraphine Botanicals. This is the shade Happy Hibiscus. When I first looked at it, I thought, man, it is gonna be way too deep for me. But blended out on the cheek, it's really, really pretty. It's another one that has more of a sheen to it. See how nicely that's swatched. Nice and pigmented, but not too pigmented. And it is, I'm trying to decide if it's any, because this one is not one that I have like super duper feelings for. It's one that every time I wear it, I enjoy it. But you know, I don't necessarily think about reaching for this one often, more than the other ones on the chopping block though. So I'm not gonna put it on the chopping block. It's just one that's not quite as much used in my stash. Looking at it though, is it like any of these other ones? Maybe like this one a little bit, maybe like this. Food for contemplation. Lastly, I have this one. This actually isn't even a blush. This is a bronzer, but it's such a glowy bronzer. There's no way I was gonna wear it as bronzer, but sometimes I'm in the mood to have a glowy, really neutral blush. So I decided to keep it around as a blush. I don't wear it very often at all. I definitely have to be in the mood for it. So there you have it, a bunch of my peachy blushes and some of the more nude blushes. But that just makes me so happy to look at these swatches. These ones that I smeared are bugging me. I want to smooth them a little bit. Okay, I might have made it worse, but just whatever. Oh, I realized I forgot one that belonged with all the pink shades. So this is my newest blush. This is from Phase Zero. And this actually, I don't know, is it peach or is it pink? Where should I put it? Should I swatch it? Should I swatch it with the peaches? I think so. I think it's more of a peach leaning blush. This is another one that has lots of shimmer in it, but not glitter, because then I definitely wouldn't keep it around. Yeah, it definitely belongs up here with these ones. A beautiful peachy pink blush. Keeping that one. Okay, so on this side, blushes number 6 and 7 were the ones I was thinking of decluttering. So let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. See, compared to all the other ones, I don't need them, do I? Like, I have lots of blushes that can essentially do the same thing, right? And I feel like I should just pass them on because I don't want to reach for them. I always want something else. So I think I'm gonna do that. I mean, I really don't like doing that with this one because this one is an indie brand and I kind of like hanging on to indie brand blushes, you know, and I do like them. Every time I wear them, I surprise myself. I'm like, oh, I do really actually like this. But like I said, they'll just kind of sit around in my drawers. So maybe someone with less blush would enjoy having these more than me. Now I'm kind of having second thoughts about decluttering this because it's just so different from the other things that I have. First of all, it's a cream. I really like creams. Another thing I don't like about it is that one of the first ingredients in it is coconut oil. With my acne prone skin, I try really hard to avoid products where one of the main ingredients is coconut oil, and if it's in there at all, I'd usually avoid it. So that, in combination with how I don't like how it can be more difficult to blend out, I feel like you do have to go in really quickly with your finger and really aggressively pat. And I feel like even using a brush wouldn't be as effective because it's almost like you need the warmth of your fingers to keep it emollient and not set down, just because it's a little bit more of a tacky blush. But I really enjoy the color. I remember when I tried it out in an unboxing, I believe. I really had a lot of fun with it. But this is also something you could use as a lip color. So I do think I'm gonna pass this along. You know, I haven't really used it very much, maybe 3 or 4 times. So I think that the person I'm gonna pass it along to, hopefully, if they don't like it as a blush, maybe they'll like it as a lip product. I personally have a lot of lip products. I don't really want to keep it around for that reason. Look at that. That is so satisfying. I love my blush. So I feel really good about this, guys. I am decluttering 3 blushes and I am keeping 22. This one, I could almost count it as a declutter from the blush because I think I'm gonna swatch it out with all my other singles and see if this would be a good single for that I could just use as an eyeshadow. And I'll try it out as an eyeshadow and see if I even like it. I just don't think I'll keep it around as a blush. So I guess I could probably count this as a declutter as well from the blushes. Yeah, that was this one here. And I think I do feel like there are blushes here that have similar undertones. This one definitely has a little bit more peach, a little bit more orange than some of like these ones down here. But like I said, I'm moving it out of my blush into the eyeshadow. You guys, I had so much fun doing this. I really wanted to do it, like I said, like an overhead type style, but you know what? This worked out okay. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoy blush as much as I do, let me know down below. We can geek out about blush together. I always read my comments. I'm always checking to see what people are saying. And if you do comment and like the video and engage like that, thank you so much. It really helps out my channel with the YouTube algorithm and things. So just thank you so much. I really appreciate the engagement and I hope that you have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time. Bye!